Thank you very much for everyone for taking a pew and listening to this. So as the screen says, my name is John Knight. I work for a company called Smarter Interactive, and I'm going to discuss collaborative training delivery and some choices that you have over how you could improve on that delivery. So I just want to start with a very boring thing to think about, which is the dictionary definition of collaboration, because it's quite important to try and set the context of what the purpose of this is as a presentation. The dictionary definition of collaboration is a situation where two or more people work together to create something. So we're trying to focus on tools that enable not just a trainer to deliver a presentation, but to actually work with their delegates and work with people in the room to create something together. The term is actually being applied to all kinds of technologies and products at the moment. So collaboration is very much a buzzword for all kinds of people. But today we're going to try and focus specifically on training delivery methods and tools. So in terms of different types of collaboration, we find that people want to collaborate in different ways. So the first way that we find is a generic term is the need to collaborate when you are in the room with other people. So we're all in the same room together, admittedly a very large room at the moment, but we are still all in the same room together, face to face, and we can potentially collaborate. Traditionally, you collaborate with each other by talking to each other, but in this particular case, you might want to do things like whiteboarding notes in the room, same room with each other. So I'm going to talk about some tools that can help with that. But what's become more popular and is the basis of this show to some extent is the idea of delivering things to people who are remote, currently through things like e-learning platforms and websites. So the question is how you can deliver that to people who are working or wanting to be trained remotely, and then possibly creating a blended environment where you have a mixture of 10 people in the room and 5 people out in the internet somewhere, and how you can potentially work towards that goal as well. The reason I mention this is that each of these environments, each of these aspirations can require different types of technology, and it's worth trying to consider what type of experience you want to improve your collaboration within. Is it people in the room with you, or are we referring to people who are out on the internet in some way, shape or form? Why bother? Why collaborate at all? So when it comes to an in-room experience, we're talking about ways that you can enhance the learning experience, use 21st century tools. We speak to a lot of people, for example, who say, how can I bring tablets, mobile devices into my training environment? How can I adopt a bring your own device strategy? And how can I increase engagement using 21st century technology? So these are all the tools and reasons that you might want to start to collaborate. In terms of the remote side of things, the obvious return on investment argument is, well, if I can train them via the internet, then I don't have to travel to that physical location, or they don't have to travel to me. Plus, we're looking at ways to try and enhance that remote learning experience. So in terms of in-room collaboration, what I've done today is I've broken it down into some different categories. And really the point of this is to try and get you to think about the type of collaborative experience you're looking to try and improve. One of the traditional ways of training being delivered is the use of a whiteboard or a flip chart. So the first example I'm going to look at is a whiteboard or flip chart replacement. And then I'm going to move on to talking about some of these other categories in a second. So in terms of whiteboard or flip chart replacement, to set the context of this, I've got a video. None of my videos are more than hopefully about a minute or so long.
What started as a sketch became an idea during the conference call, which led to a meeting and a few minor notes, which prompted a coffee break and inspired a new brainstorm session. with some outside help, which finally led to the breakthrough that changed it all. One that was worth sharing with the office, so that marketing, engineering, and sales could all sign off, and the whole team could come together to bring the plan to life. Introducing Smartcap, the dry erase board reinvented. Capture, save, share with Smartcap.
So first of all, I make a
Android
British
users can
apology
download
for
the
the
app from
cheesiness
Google
of that
Play
video.
and pair their device by simply...
But the point of it is to try and demonstrate to you the fact that... Sorry, let me get back into the PowerPoint. This is a product that can replace an existing whiteboard or flip chart. Everything that you write is digitally captured and transferred onto a smart device. And just by clicking a link, you can share everything you do on that screen with anybody using any device anywhere in the world. Okay? So they can all be sat in the same room with you, and that can be your in-room experience, where they're all viewing your handwritten notes that are appearing on their device. Alternatively, they could be in America, they could be the other side of the world, and you can still be training them and sharing those whiteboard notes with them in real time. The benefits of this product: relatively price competitive, so sub £1,000 product. We're not talking about thousands and thousands of pounds. The 42-inch model is £700. The 84-inch, so nearly 2-metre wide whiteboard, is £900. So very competitively priced products. You use a dry white marker pen with them, so no special pens, and all it needs is a power supply. So you can just plug it into the wall and away you go, using your smartphone with a free app. The next kind of enhancement to this, next stage up from this is, I'm going to play another video, but this is the next product in this particular family.
From the company that reinvented the whiteboard comes a powerful new display. Now, everyone can contribute to a meeting, from anywhere, on any device. Introducing Smartcap IQ, the display reimagined. Getting started is simple. Just pair your phone, invite your colleagues, start working. Multi-way inking means that team members can actively engage in the conversation no matter where they are.
Okay, so I'm just going to pause it there because this is quite a key point with this. Anybody using any device, so you've got somebody using a smartphone in the bottom left corner, somebody using a tablet, they have the ability to write back. Okay? You can do that via a web browser, so they don't have to install any software on their device, or they can download a free app and do it through the app. But it's the ability for them to not just view what you put on your screen and write up onto your Cap IQ, but the ability for them to actually use their finger or a pen tool on a device and have the ability to write back again.
All you need is a pen or your finger. Taking an idea elsewhere is simple too. Capture, save, and share your work with ease. And pick up where you left off, whenever you like. Cap IQ wasn't just designed to be a whiteboard either. It's also a stunning Ultra HD display with Smart's patented touch and digital ink technology. Which means you don't just have a front of room display. Now you have a simple yet powerful collaboration tool, the kind that keeps your team on the same page, no matter where they are, how they work, or how fast they're moving. Smartcap IQ, the display for the connected world.
So again, just to recap a couple of key points from that. This screen can replace an existing TV projector that you might have in your room already, or you could obviously use it alongside it if you prefer to. It's a multi-touch, ultra-high definition display, so you can run Windows, Mac devices on here, and use it with your PowerPoint, with your YouTube videos, whatever you want to. But by pressing a button, you can switch over into this Cap IQ mode, which is basically a device that's built into the screen itself. Zap that QR code and share all the information that you write up on the screen with any device anywhere in the world if you want to. Again, the point is simplicity. Very, very simple, very easy to use, very easy to adopt. Available in 55-inch, 65-inch and 75-inch screens. We have an example of this on our stand if you'd like to come and have a look. In fact, all of these products we have examples of on our stand. Then going back to the theme of collaboration, one of the things that we also find people asking us is going back to that idea of, well, rather than me sharing my whiteboarding notes with a device, I want to be able to have people working on a device in the room using their own app or their own software. So how can I get that device up onto my screen at the front of the room and use it as part of the session? Okay, so this is more soft skills or people working on a piece of software on their own device or a device that you're providing for them, and how you can create a more wireless and collaborative environment. So again, I've just got a very short video to try and illustrate this. So just to quickly summarise what we've been looking at there, the product is actually this tiny little black box. It's not a PC, it's specifically designed for this purpose. It's compatible with any display, so you can attach this little black box to any display that you have already. It allows you to wirelessly connect Windows, Mac, tablets, smartphones to the screen. And with the touch screen, it gives you the ability to move all the images around, so you can actually make them bigger and smaller. You can be in control over what you're actually viewing at the time. But it also gives you the ability to have annotation, so you can write over the top of people's devices as they share up onto your screen. And also other features like file sharing and chat and that type of stuff as well. So it's a way of not necessarily pushing your screen to them, although you can do that if you want to, but collaborating by discussing the content from their screen and bringing it up onto one main screen at the front of the room. Okay? And this will again support a whole range of different devices, so it can be used in a bring your own device environment as well. In terms of writing over digital content, we're now into the realms of things that have been around for a long time, ironically. So everything I've tried to talk about so far is relatively new, but the concepts are actually going back in time rather than forwards. And what I mean by that is, I'm talking about how you can replace a flip chart with a slightly better version of a flip chart. Products like interactive whiteboards, for example, have been on the market for a long time, and we've been selling them for a long time. But one of the challenges that we've seen with them is the adoption of the product. Sometimes people spend a lot of time to learn how to use the software and use it very effectively, but actually sometimes people don't spend time to learn the software and don't use the full power of the product, and actually all they really want is a projector and a flip chart. So I think in that sense, that's why I've started with those ideas. But the point of all of these interactive screens is that if you attach a PC, you have the ability to annotate with handwritten notes over any software on your computer. So you could run your own PowerPoints, your own presentations, your own videos, and you could draw handwritten notes directly over the top of those. And using software, again, you've got the ability to share that information to anybody that's in the same room with you or anybody that's anywhere in the world. So that option is still there, and we work very successfully with clients who use either the software that we can sell or their own platform to do that. Things like WebEx and Adobe Connect are two well-known examples within the training industry. So there's nothing wrong with this as a product, but I'm not going to focus on it because it's been on the market for a long time. I want to just quickly show you an alternative to this type of idea. So this is a brand new product onto the market. It actually launched in the UK last month. It's called New Raver, is the company. The product is called Span. So what you're looking at here is, I'll play the video and I'll explain it very quickly afterwards.
When it comes to cultivating ideas, most teams still turn to paper, sheets of newsprint, sketched up storyboards, and walls filled with sticky notes. Imagine taking the creative process digital, working naturally on a projected panoramic canvas, accessing your ideation sessions from the cloud, whether in the room or working at a distance, contributing from your own device. It's ideation for the digital generation. Familiar, simple, flexible.
So what you were looking at there was a projected image which could be projected onto a wall with touch enabled. The actual software is a 40-foot canvas, so I can't tell you exactly how large 40 foot is, but it's wider than everything that we're looking at here in terms of the actual physical canvas that's available to you. But using a finger, you can scroll backwards and forwards and the whole thing will move on the canvas. That canvas can have a range of typed post-it notes, hand-drawn whiteboard pages and images inserted, and all of those can be annotated. And all of those ideas can be grouped together, so you can have themes within the software, and they can be added from any internet-enabled device. So you could either have people in the same room with you, working from a tablet or working from a PC, who are actually typing their ideas into the session, and you're just moving those all around on the screen, or they could be anywhere in the world, adding their ideas, drawing their ideas into whiteboards and dropping them onto that canvas. So it's a very innovative concept, but in terms of the collaborative environment that you can create with this type of product, we haven't seen anything that does it as well as this. It really is a very, very eye-catching product. You can actually have more than one projector installed side by side, and then the whole thing becomes blended. So what I mean by that is that as you scroll the canvas, the whole canvas will move on the projectors backwards and forwards. So it's a continuous workspace. So in summary, what I've tried to talk about here is collaborative technology that enable you to look at different types of tasks or jobs. Starting at the bottom end of the scale, you've got the idea of how can I improve on my whiteboard or flip chart experience, through to how can I enable the whiteboarding experience to be more interactive, more two-way in my delivery. How can I connect devices to the system that I'm running wirelessly and have more collaboration going on between me and the people with the devices in their hands? How can I write digitally over content on my computer? Or this new concept of a span, they call it an ideation system. I would just get you to think of it as a digital post-it note, digital whiteboard, continuous space that's available, a span that's available. They all enable the dictionary definition of collaboration. They all enable two or more people to work together to achieve something. But the experience that you get from each technology is very, very different. So it's one of the things to think about is what type of experience you want. They can all be used as an in-room collaboration tool. They can all be used with remote collaboration. And they can all be used with blended collaboration. So there's no distinction between whether or not you can train people the other side of the world or not in the same room with you. The difference is the experience that they receive. Okay? So take that example of a flip chart replacement. They can view everything that you do on that flip chart anywhere in the world in real time. But they can't write back. So does that make them feel connected or disconnected? Okay, so it's something to think about. If they could write back, would you, as a potential trainer or presenter, go, "Oi, stop writing on my whiteboard, you're ruining it." Okay? Is that the type of experience that you want them to have or you don't want them to have? So it's things to think about. All of these options, I haven't talked about this in detail, but we can help with this if anybody's interested in discussing this as well. All of these can be used alongside an audio conference. So you're thinking, well, how do I talk to the person? Simple answer is pick up a phone, but you can obviously build a more immersive environment for that as well. So you can have conference phone facilities, wireless conference phones. You can have multiple microphones in a room so that the person at the other end can hear what the whole room is saying rather than what just the trainer or the presenter is saying. And we have various questions that we try and ask people. How big is the room and what type of thing are you trying to achieve? You can obviously run a video conferencing alongside all these tools as well. So if you want them to see you or to see the people in your room, then again, we can work to help you create that environment. And we have various questions that we ask. What type of camera setup do you want? What type of software do you want to use? Do you want the ability to have a camera that can be moved, hand tilt zoom, rather than a camera that is fixed, like a webcam, for example? So there's a whole range of questions that we can ask, but all these tools can be used alongside audio conferencing and or video conferencing platforms as well. So I hope I've answered the question of why bother to collaborate and what the different types of experiences could be. So next question from us would be, well, how would we recommend that you might proceed? The first thing is to think about how do you train today? So I've talked about flip chart and whiteboard replacements. If you're in an environment where you're using those all the time, then that's the first and logical place to start with. If you never use a whiteboard or a flip chart and you're obsessed with PowerPoint and YouTube and video clips and actually you never get anybody to write anything down, then it wouldn't make sense to start with the whiteboard products. It would make sense to look at more of the digital products. But think about what you do today. What is your percentage split between in-room, remote and blended delivery? And also another context to that is, what do you aspire to doing in the future? So for example, today we talk to people who go and deliver a training session in Reading, get on a train, arrive in Leeds, deliver exactly the same session in Leeds, get on a train, go on to the next location, you get the idea, and deliver exactly the same session. And most people who are doing that are frustrated with it. And the business is frustrated with it to some extent as well because of the cost. So is that the type of training that you're delivering at the moment, where you're traveling all the time and having people in the room with you? That would be an in-room experience. But also, what's your aspiration? Where would you like to move to in the future? Would you like to introduce more remote training or blended environments where you have a mixture of people remote and in the room with you? And then finally, that will hopefully help you to consider what's missing from your current experience and where your first quick win could be. We speak to people who say that they are trainers who are obsessive over the use of whiteboards and flip charts. So a quick win for them would be the whiteboard replacement product and the ability to digitize that whole experience and then maybe move towards the two-way writing experience in the future rather than necessarily starting there straight away. As a presenter of services that our company can offer, I would also add, talk to a professional company. We hope you can come and talk to us. We're on stand O10, and I'll bring up the details in a second. But also try to relate whatever you are doing to a quantifiable return on investment for you as the potential user, but also the business. Why is this going to benefit the business? And we try to talk to our customers about that as well. We try not to sell technology for technology's sake. We try not to sell things that just look cool. The idea is, how can we get this to be adopted within your organization? How can we ensure that you're going to benefit from it from a soft benefit, improving that collaborative experience, but ultimately, what type of experience is required in order to get a genuine return on investment in a pounds and pence environment? That cost of travel, for example, is that an issue that can be tackled by improving the experience of the remote delegates?